All right, so continuing, picking up where I left off. I don't want you don't need to get drowned out by thinking that I know everything. Um, just hear the message, hear the enlightening information, because this is how people missed Yeshua. Him being the truth and the enlightening information, the truthful information that he was giving people to help them, because they envied him for the same reasons that they admired him. But they thought he knew everything. They envied him because they felt that he knew everything and he was this and that. And all he was doing was just giving people the truth to help them, to enlighten them, to save them so that they could come into salvation. But they didn't want to hear it, because they envied him. You know, they envied him because they thought that he felt like he knew everything and he was everything. And the truth of the matter is that he is everything. He was everything. And, when he was here on earth, teaching and preaching and healing people and bringing them into salvation. Um, but, uh, but, so what I was saying was all of this is about envy. You know what I'm saying? People, okay, when I was in the after school programs, kids were being impacted in a positive way, in a large, significant, positive way. And the only thing that mattered the most was that. And see, teachers, instructors, they knew that. They admired me and the work that the Lord was doing through me. You know, because it was obviously unrefutably effective in a positive way. Obviously what our kids needed, for themselves, and to see a change for the better within them. But they secretly envied me, you see, and this is the problem. The nature of people will cause us to openly admire each other, but at the same time, secretly envy each other for the very same reasons that we admire each other. You see, this is the problem. This is a contradictive, wicked nature and mentality that too many of our people have. And this is the problem that they had with Yeshua. And see, right now, the Lord is giving us the jewels. The Lord is giving us the jewels and the answers and the solutions through what I'm saying right now. Okay. The tares, when the Bible makes reference to he's coming to separate the tares from the wheats and the sheeps from the goats. Okay. In one sense, he's talking about separating wicked people from holy, righteous people. The goats being wicked people and the sheeps being holy, righteous people, pure, holy, righteous people. And the tares, and the wheats, wicked people and holy, righteous, genuine, holy, righteous, pure people. Okay, the tares and the wheats and the sheep and the goats that he's separating from each other are the sheep and the goat within us. The tares and the wheats within us. You see, we have a double standard, hypocritical nature. You see what I'm saying? This goes into why I'm not about to get into that right now. I want to stay on track because I can bounce around all day and connect all these different points, but I don't want to overwhelm anybody. We need to get this right now. So I'm just laying some foundation right now, and I'll come with some other teachings and information that's on another layer of us elevating and growing in salvation, that as it relates to this video, to this teaching. But that's what all this is about. It's hard for us to make progress, or it's hard for us to make improvement, because progress and improvement are different. They're similar, but they're different. But Just as the sheep is similar, the goat and the sheep are similar to each other, but they're not the same. They're different. Just like the tares and the wheats are similar to each other, but they're not the same. They're different. That's just like admiration. Admiring someone and envying someone are similar to each other, but they are different. You see that? You see the sobriety in this? This is the problem of our nature. The world, the nature of humanity and the foundation of the world is based on contradictions, y'all. Everything. Now, we may be thinking right now, okay, we already know this, Ian. Tell us something that we don't know. Okay, this is what we need to realize, whether we already know this or not, in doing something about it to change it. Whether we already know this or whether we are being awakened and quickened right now and realizing this. Regardless, this is what we need to do to make the positive changes. Circumcision of our hearts, souls, and minds. You know what I'm saying? It's an everyday thing where we look at ourselves and we're presented with different situations where we have the opportunity to self-reflect and look at ourselves in every moment in dealing with any and everybody on every scale of every situation. You ask yourself right now, am I admiring this person while I'm secretly envying them? Is this something that I need to look at myself and check with myself, Lord? See, that's circumcision. That's circumcision. You see, this is real circumcision. This is why the Bible speaks about circumcision in the Old Testament. See, but in the New Testament, the difference with the New Testament, when Yeshua came, he came to circumcise from the inside out. See, in the Old Testament with God the Father, circumcision was done on the outside. All right. In which I'm going to do a teaching about the difference between God the Father in the Old Testament and God the Son, Yeshua, of the New Testament. The differences and their similarities and how they all connect with making sense in life, in our everyday, so that we can apply to our everyday lives and we can see in our everyday lives, as it relates to that. But back on point, this is the circumcision that Yeshua came to do from inside out. You see, and this is why they envied him, for the same reason that they admired him. See what I'm saying? And then in some cases, they made it known that they envied him. You know, the Pharisees and Sadducees, they made it known that they envied him. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you do have people that's going to envy you openly, but for the most part, the reason why what we see today on a large scale of turmoil with our people, specifically with our black people, but I'm talking about people in general, but specifically with our black people and our young black people at that, or people of African descent or Hebrew Israelites, whichever one you want to call us. You know what I'm saying? The problem is we need circumcision from inside out, which is what Yeshua came to do. So when you're circumcising yourselves, or when you allow Yeshua or the Holy Ghost, the Holy G, to circumcise you as you circumcise yourself, because you're doing it together. And this is how we are joint heirs with Christ. This is why the Bible says we are joint heirs with Christ. You see, this is one of the examples or functions of us operating as joint heirs with Christ. We circumcise ourselves as he is circumcising us, all at the same time, from the inside out. And this is done when you face situations every day and you ask yourself, am I admiring this person for the same reason? Am I admiring this person? Am I openly admiring this person while I secretly envy them? And you ask yourself that, and you realize that if you are, and you make a change about it, then that's how you change. That's how you change for the better from inside out, truthfully. You see what I'm saying? This is what Christ came to do. This is what he likes to see. This is what captivates his nature. See what I'm saying? So we can have his nature and his mentality and our nature and our mentality to be in our higher selves, to operate in our higher selves. You see what I'm saying? This is also entering into a new dimension of the Holy Ghost. You see? So we're going to stop right there and marinate on that.